It's your boy Scooda.
It's your boy Scooda. What's going on, y'all? This your boy Scooda, and you are now listening to the Scooda Podcast right here on IamScooda.com. I am excited, man, as I am every episode. You already know, we turned up. The electricity and the energy is always there, and it's no different today on today's episode, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped because I have an actress who is just awesome. I've heard other but great things about her. I took a sneak peek at the movie that she's in and things like that. I'm gonna be able to sit down and watch it, and my full disclosure and all of that stuff. But I'm telling you, I have an awesome person, and I'm just so excited for you guys to learn more about her and everything that she's doing, how she got in the movie game and everything like that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to some and reintroduce to others, none other than Chris McGinn.
Hey there, how you doing, Scooter? So happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you are here. I can't believe I got Chris in the building. I mean, she's on the Scooda Podcast. This is crazy.
And the feeling is mutual. I can't believe I've got you on the line.
Well, you know what? I want to start off because the connection is already there. I'm pretty sure everybody can feel the energy. The connection is already there because not only am I from St. Louis, but a lot of people may not know you're from St. Louis. So this is a St. Louis connection right here.
I'm born and raised in St. Louis, my hometown right in South City, St. Louis, until I went to college.
Born and raised in St. Louis. Wow, St. Louis girl has made it big in the movies. So,
well, it wasn't quite that fast, but
that's why I got you here today to talk about that process and how that got started. So, for those who are not familiar with you, just kind of tell us who you are, Chris, and just kind of brief everybody a little bit on who is Chris. Like, really, who is Chris?
Who is Chris? That's a great question. I'm an actress. I also coach and teach actors in New York as a side job. I would say that you would call me a working actress in the true sense of the word, because I do work and book jobs, and obviously just did Kidnap with Halle Berry, which I got a co-starring role. That was my first big role. And I would say that I am, when I say I'm a working actress, I mean it in that sense that you don't go from job to job to job all the time. You work as an actress, and then you audition a lot more, and then you work as an actress, and then you audition a lot more. And so I've been kind of doing it for a long time. And, from when I moved to New York City and getting to work in New York, getting to work in LA, getting to work wherever the job takes me. So that's who I am. It's that journeyman with the Missouri background.
With the Missouri, with the Emo's Pizza and the White Castles and all of that from St. Louis.
Yeah. And Ted Drew's.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Every time I see a White Castle in New York, I go crazy. And they laugh at me because I'm like, belly bombers. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. And they put in a Denny's downtown in Manhattan and Wall Street area. And I got so excited because Denny's was like one of them, St. Louis hangouts, when you go out at night to go have dinner. And so I love St. Louis with all my heart, and it holds a strong place in my upbringing and my soul, and made me who I was.
That's what's up. That's what's up. If you guys are listening, like I said, you tune in to the Scooda Podcast, and we are talking to the one and only Chris McGinn, who was just talking to us and telling us about how she grew up in St. Louis, born and raised in St. Louis and things like that, and how she's a working actress. Now, with you being an actress, tell us, because I know everybody, all the actors and actresses and music, artists, and everybody has a story on how they chose to do what they're doing, right? So with you being an actress, like, was that always something when you were little that you wanted to do, or was it kind of like a funny story how it just came together, or it just kind of just happened?
When I I always wanted to perform, and I enjoyed it. I would sing, and I would act like even in grade school. I was always in the school play or in the musical or in the chorus. And then I went to high school, and I was the same way. And I loved the arts. I was really into it. And what happened was I went to college at Truman University, which is in Kirksville, Missouri. It wasn't called that at the time. It was called Northeast Missouri State University. But I went to college, and I thought, I'll do musical theater. And then they told me that there was no musical theater major. That I was going to the school, I had to pick either music or theater. And as much as I loved music, I knew I was not Barbra Streisand and was not going to make it in that area. And I felt like I had a much better shot of doing theater because I wanted to learn all the ins and outs of it that you do in college. And also my university was an education university. So I got a degree for teaching as well. So I felt like learning not only about all the different aspects of theater and film and the arts, as well as being able to teach it, was right up my alley. So that was how I got in.
Wow, that's remarkable, actually. So now tell us, when you got in and you had your first role or your first play or your first, how was that feeling? Was it like, oh my gosh, I'm finally here, or was it like, oh, this is nothing, I could take care of this, I could do this?
Well, I did my first official job, like union job. When I first moved to New York, I did stage managing for play. I did kind of everything that would get me to know people, because a lot of what I discovered when I moved to New York was a lot of people went to Juilliard or Yale. They went to big schools, or they knew people, and I didn't really have any of that other than my education degree. So I did whatever I could to get myself some work and to learn about being on camera and different things like that. And my big official first job in a union job was Silence of the Lambs as a dead body. So that was really pretty iconic. Who knew at the time? I did not know. My agent actually tried to talk me out of saying yes to the movie because she's like, you're going to be a dead body, and if this movie bombs, do we want people to know that you're a dead body in a movie? And so, but I knew with Jonathan Demme and Jodie Foster attached that it would be an amazing experience for me.
Of course.
And so, for me, it was, at the time, it was very exciting and surreal because it was them, because I knew them, because it was, I was a dead body, and they kept calling me. They shot the movie in Pittsburgh, and they would call me, one of the set people, and say, do you mind if we pull you out of the river naked for when they discover your body? And I was like, okay. I kept saying yes to everything because I was so scared that it was my first job. I was afraid to say no.
Yeah.
And then they called back like a week later, and they said, we don't want to pull you out of the river now. We'd like to pull you out of a morgue drawer. Is that okay? And I felt like every time they called, they had some other creepy story that I was saying yes to. So for me, it was an amazing experience, and then the movie went on to win all these Oscars and became this critically acclaimed movie, and it was kind of surprising that I was actually in it. So I sort of was outside myself going, wow, this is your first movie, and look what happened. So it was a really fun and exciting experience.
Yeah, and now speaking of you saying you had to go outside of yourself, now we hear all these great things about you. I mean, you've told us so much great things about you and how good you are and the learning and things that you have, and everything sounds so great and so good. But one thing I noticed, and a lot of your fans and a lot of people who follow you, will know that you've played some of the baddest, deadest, unluckiest characters in the industry. so how did that?
Is for sure.
So how did that come about? I mean, is it kind of hard? Of course, you're a professional, so you go in and out of character and things like that. But is it kind of weird? Like, oh man, this is these characters that you're getting.
Well, it is kind of weird because I like to think that they don't think that's who I am as a person, and that's why they pick me for those roles. But I can tell you, I would say I can tell you a funny story, but I can tell you first that I think that the reason that it happened that way is because I am a character actress, which means that I'm not the ingenue girl. I'm not the leading lady. I'm not the stereotype that Hollywood has for that leading lady. I'm a character actress, meaning I can play a darker character. I can play, something that's got a little more depth to it. Mm-hmm. Kathy Bates type that people like, or Rosie O'Donnell, or like Melissa McCarthy. I'm always put in those categories, and I think that's why it happened to me, because I wasn't afraid to go in there, because I am a nice person and I have a good background and I know it's acting. So I do my homework and I know how to play somebody who's darker and give them some humanity. And so I think that's kind of how, on a serious note, that has happened to me career-wise, is they will say stuff to me in auditions like, we brought you in because you're such a real actress, which to me is the ultimate compliment to be that they really liked it. I can tell you a funny story. When I auditioned for Kidnap with Halle Berry, I did the whole audition from New York on Skype and on video. Really? They had never met me in person. Wow. They were in LA and I was in New York. And I had to keep sending them audition tapes. So when they kept telling me I was in the running, and then they called one day and said, the director wants to have a Skype meeting with you. So can you meet him on Skype? And I said, of course. So we set up a Skype meeting, and when Luis Prieto is his name, comes on the screen, I'm there, and I'm like, hey, Luis, how are you? And we're talking, and he says, he has a Spanish accent, and he's like, I had to talk to you because I needed to be sure that you weren't Margot. He said, we were all afraid you were really that character. And so they wanted to meet me on the video, and he said, I needed to know if you were nice Chris or mean Margot. Wow. And that became like the running joke through the whole making of the movie, because they, when I did the audition, everything was on video, so they never met me. So all they saw was this character. And then when they met me on the video, I was, my nice, sweet Missourian self. And so that's what I would say. I think is that I'm not afraid to play those kinds of characters, because I know that's not who I am as a person.
That's, that's good. And that's cool to be able to, have that diversity to be yourself, but at the same time, be so good at a character that sometimes people may think, wait a minute, is that how she is or what? but that just shows your skills and how good you are. And that is really amazing. That's really amazing. That really is. So, now,
I was going to say, Luis, the director, kept saying all the time, even when we had the premiere of the movie in August, he went around telling everybody, see, she's really nice. See? She's really nice. And that was his whole thing the whole time, about how nice I was, because he was always afraid that people weren't going to like me if they watched the movie.
But that's funny. It's like, she's real. This is not her. This is the real her. That's funny.
Exactly.
Now speaking and staying on Kidnap, how was that experience? Working with Halle Berry and just being in that movie, the environment. For those who haven't seen, Kidnap. I'm not sure if you can go too much into it, but kind of let us know your character for Kidnapping. How you had to adapt to that, and meeting Halle Berry and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. Meeting Halle was fabulous. First off, I didn't meet her until I was already cast in the movie. They called and said, meet us in New Orleans, where we shot the movie for 6 weeks. And I met her in New Orleans, and she was fabulous. She was a girlfriend from day one. She jumped up and down and hugged me and was screaming and saying, I can't wait to work with you, and we're going to have so much fun. And she just was really, so professional and yet so human. And it was so much fun to do it together.
That's
and
cool.
Because in the movie, obviously, the basis of Kidnap is that her son, which is no surprise, is kidnapped by two kidnappers, and I am one of the two, the main kidnappers. My character, Margot, along with Lou Temple, is the other actor who's from The Walking Dead, among other projects, and he plays Terry, and we are the kidnappers. So in the movie, which is not really a secret as you watch the trailer and
right.
You see what happens in the movie. Filming the movie was fabulous, again, because it was my first leading role, where for 6 weeks I was on call sheet, almost every day, and that means that, I got to film. We filmed the movie in about 3 weeks, and I shot for, most of those days. And so it was I love New Orleans. I love the food. The people couldn't have been nicer. It was, the film is not meant to identify from New Orleans, but they just kind of wanted it to be the South in general. Mm-hmm. But it was really fun because I get to have a shotgun and a killer dog, and I get to fight with Halle and do stunts, and it was great. I mean, it was a blast. People couldn't have been nicer, and it couldn't have been more fun. I can tell you the scariest part of it was when I got there, I had never met anyone in person, and everyone kept saying, oh, you're so great, you're so great. And I'm thinking, yeah, but I haven't done anything in the movie yet. So it was like they all were so happy with the audition that they liked everything I did. And that's a very strange experience for an actor, speaking for myself as an actress, that they didn't, whatever I did, it was like, oh, that's wonderful, oh, you're so great, oh, you're so scary. And then I would think, well, how come this comes so easily for me? So that was a little, an interesting little life experience for me, that they would say, is it nice, Chris, or is it mean, Margot? And Luis, when he was directing me, sometimes would say, I see a little nice Chris, and I want more mean Margot in there. And then I would know just what he wanted.
The best of both worlds.
It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing experience, I have to say.
That's cool. This is an amazing.
They have a lot more of them.
This is amazing, and it's inspiring. I guarantee somebody's out there listening. They're getting inspired just by your story and how you got in and how you've met people, and it's just the experience, the total experience. I guarantee it's inspiring someone, because we may have somebody that's listening that wants to be an actress, or wants to get into movies.
Thank you. I really hope that it does inspire people, because I really was a person, sitting in St. Louis, Missouri, not knowing what I was going to do next, and I got an education, which I am, eternally grateful for, and got my degree, and then I moved to New York, and I moved with 2 or 3 friends, but I didn't know anyone in the business. I truthfully just piece by piece met people and reached out and did whatever it took in order to get to know people. Yeah. And that's how jobs came and agents came, and I really hope that if people are inspired, if you do what you love and you follow, the work will come.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in that path.
That's definitely how I feel, with branching out with radio. I do music, so in order to put music down and start doing radio, because I was good at radio. I love radio, I love doing radio and stuff like that, but I love doing music as well. But it was like, you know what, I'm gonna step out on this and step out on faith. And it's been a lot of great things that's happening. A lot of doors have been opening. And a lot of people, people may have hidden talents, gifts, and stuff like that they may be like, oh, I don't know. But if you just take a chance on yourself, that's probably the greatest thing you could ever do, is take a chance on yourself. Now what else?
And also, I was just going to say one thing, which is I think what you said is so important in the sense that everybody doesn't just have one gift. We have many gifts.
Yeah.
And when I moved to New York, I didn't think, oh, I'm just going to be an actress. I learned how to stage manage, and I built sets, and I did background, and I went on a soap opera. I was on All My Children, and I started as an extra, which means I didn't talk, and I just worked around, and I got paid minimum. And then out of being on there as an extra, they gave me a part, and I ended up with a recurring part for like 8 years of playing a character and getting paid and getting a name and getting lines, and it was by following all the skills that I had. And I think that's great, like with you and your music and, radio and podcasts. It's us taking those opportunities that are all there and following up on all of them, not just having tunnel vision into one thing.
Exactly. You said it. You said it right there. You're hitting the nail on the coffin right there. That may be one of the roles that you were.
Well, hopefully not in the coffin.
I think I reverted to one of the roles that you were doing. Right? So Chris, also tell us, you know what? A fun fact for the audience, okay? I did a little research, and I talked to management and stuff, but have a little research, and I understand that blue may be your lucky color. Is that it?
You are so right.
So tell us about blue.
So many blue collar jobs, all my acting roles. I play waitresses, I play nurses, I play nuns, I play I have played homeless people, I've played a few alcoholics. I'm usually the down on your luck characters or the orderlies. They're not the high-end, high-paying acting jobs, meaning as the characters, they're always the working man character. So I do feel very blue-collar, and I feel like the Roseanne of of film and TV and character roles. I'm like Roseanne's sidekick to those kind of parts. So
love.
And I love them. It's really fun, actually.
And it sounds like
it's interesting when you've been cast as a nurse, 5 or 6 times. Each time you're trying to find a new way to play that nurse.
Yeah.
Because she's a different nurse than the nurse she played before.
Exactly.
And who's she talking to this time, and why is she saying it? So it becomes an interesting challenge.
That's cool. Well, Chris has been so awesome. I could probably talk to you a whole lot longer, and everybody, we just get so much insight and inspiration from you. But tell us, how can people, your fans already know how to get in contact with you, but if there's somebody that's listening now and they're like, you know what, I like her, she's good, I want to know what movie she's in, what she got coming out and stuff like that, how can we connect with you?
I am in all the social media, so you can find me through Chris McGinn on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram under Chris M. McGinn. You'll see my little picture there. And I'm also on Twitter under Chris McGinn, with my picture. You can see me there. And a quick way to follow not just me, but Exters, a little tidbit, is to, if anyone's looking not just for me, is to go to IMDb. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. IMDb means Internet Movie Database. It's a free website.
Yeah.
And you can look up movies You can look up movies, you can look up directors, you can look up the cast of a movie, you can look up who everyone who worked on the movies, TV shows. They list all the projects there. So if you look me up, you can get a list of my credits. You can look up anybody else, and then you can find what's happening. But if you want my little social media posts, you can certainly find me in those places. And then I have a website, which is thechrismcginn.com, like THE chrismcginn.com. And the reason I'm a The Chris McGinn is someone took Chris McGinn, but they aren't using it.
Oh, wow.
So I became thechrismcginn.com.
The Chris McGinn.
It was kind of fun. So
that sounds like a new TV show, The Chris McGinn.
Exactly. So I've got my website, and on my website we post when things are coming up, and I have a couple things on Netflix at the moment. On 7 Seconds, I'm on an episode 2 of that, and then I'm in Marvel's Jessica Jones, and I'm in episode 2 of that. So, okay. You can find me. I'm around between New York and LA.
Chris McGinn, and born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
Exactly. With the occasional visit back to St. Louis.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Chris, it's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you on the Scooda podcast. I wish so much more success for you and everything that you're doing. I would love to have you back on. Anything you got going, please.
Anytime, Scooda. I love you. I love your podcast. I've listened to your work. I think you're really wonderfully inspiring and real, and we just need more of that these days. So anytime, I adore you and wish you and all your listeners all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris. Well, Team St. Louis, Team Chris McGinn. Team Chris McGinn.
Sounds good. Team Scooda. I got my New York Scooda crowd.
There we go. There we go. Well, everybody, I thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Scooda Podcast with your boy Scooda. For more information about me, go to the website of IamScooda.com. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the @SCOODAWOH. Or you can always hit up the Scooda chat line. That's 314-325-6447. I text back. You can text me. I text back. Call me if you want to book me for shows or whatever you want to do. Just hit me up, man. It's your boy Scooda.
It's your boy Scooda.
It's your boy Scooda.